Hello and welcome. For those of you who are new to my world, my name is Kara Amenta, and I am a quantum energy healer and an energetic gemstone jewelry designer. And today I wanted to hop on here to share the 5 steps, in no particular order, that I use to be able to heal my body from severe chronic illness and injury. But the truth is that these steps can be used on any facet of your life, whether it be your health, your wealth, or your relationships. So, that being said, let's dive in. Step 1, we get to heal our emotions. It may seem like one of the more obvious ones, but it's something that absolutely needs to happen in order for us to be able to get from where we are to where it is that we want to be. Those emotions, anytime that we are in the avoidance or the dissociation from emotions, we really rob ourselves of a beautiful opportunity to be present and be in the energy of what it is that we are actually trying to create. When, excuse me, a lot is coming up here. Most doctors will agree that most illness is stress-induced illness, whether it be from cardiovascular disease, cancer, whatever it may be. So much of it is rooted in stress. If we are able to lovingly acknowledge and look at the emotions right directly in the face and say that I love you and it's okay that you're here. If we can accept and allow our humanness for a moment, that in itself can facilitate huge transformation. Some of the biggest increases in physical vitality and health and shifts within the back injury happened right after big emotional releases for me. So the power of being able to sit with your feelings is unmeasurable, truly. And very soon I'm going to be releasing a 30-minute guided process on how to do that if that's something that you're still struggling with. So that'll be a free resource coming out soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Step 2. As we continue to process our emotions, which is something that we're going to be doing all day, every day for the rest of our lives, so the work never really ends. But step 2, we get to focus more on what it is that we are trying to create versus where it is that we've been. And this is really important because especially if you're working to manifest something like health, this is where you get to be actually a little bit delusional for a while because the thing that you are desiring to create hasn't arrived yet. And if you go and you pull the logic card and you say, I'm going to believe it when I see it, you will get stuck in a pattern of only observing what is and then seeing that what is isn't changing because you're focusing on the discomfort, you're focusing on what it is that you don't want. So what you don't want keeps showing up over and over and over again. You have your blinders up to the infinite doors of possibility that are around you. If you can connect and start to generate the feeling of what it would feel like to be whole, and maybe at first the brain comes in and goes, that's not realistic, or you start to feel fear or panic or sadness around that idea of being whole again, which the truth is that you are, it's just that you've forgotten in the moment. If you, in that moment though, if it feels scary, we go back to step 1 and we process the emotion, right? And then we come back. These steps all work very beautifully and concurrently with one another. So step 2, as you are focusing on what it is that you want to create, this is so important in staying in that kind of, delusional state because the truth is that your brain does not know the difference between the present, the past, and your imagination. All 3 create a biochemical response in your body that you can sense in real time. So the more that you can guide your thoughts towards that, the better that you are going to feel and the faster it is going to happen. For example, after the sound bath ceremony that we had in Tulum, it deeply connected me to the fullest expression of feeling so healthy and whole. And that was something that I was really playing with on the plane ride home. And to my absolute delight, as I stayed more in that extremely strong, I could feel how strong and tall my body was. My back actually micro-adjusted again. I thought my back was completely set and done, and there was still apparently more refining work that was available to me because it shifted again. And so that was something that was very, very exciting and just showed me that even when we think that we might be done, the healing, it can still get even better. It can even get better than what we think. That is available to you in any moment, but you have to allow yourself to be delusional enough for a moment to be able to connect to that feeling, whatever it takes to get to that state. In my case, it was a sound bath ceremony that really helped me get there. But for you, it can just be simply just imagining a time in your life when you didn't have a current health struggle, or if you're imagining finances, if you aren't making quite the amount of money that you want to be making yet. You might not see it in your bank account, but I'm sure that you could connect to the feeling of what it would feel like if, say, you had an extra $10,000 in your bank today. What would that feel like? Start to connect to that feeling and play with that, and the universe will vibrationally match you. It has to. It is the law. It's just about how long we can hold that frequency there and not let the mind get in the way and say, well, that's not realistic. Well, I don't know. Or getting really fearful around it. And then we start to waver in the vibration, right? Hold the frequency and you will match to it, I promise. And that's going to take us to step 3, where in order to be able to match this new frequency, right, of what it is that we are desiring to create, we get to tell a new story. The old story, the story of that we hold of victimization. And believe me, most people that I know have had horrific things happen in their life, or they've had experienced tremendous loss and grief and pain. I don't think I know any single human that hasn't gone through at least one thing that was like really pretty fucked up, right? If we stay connected and in the energy of that old story, we are not going to be able to get to where it is that we need to be. The version of you that you desire to be, whether it is in your health, your wealth, or your relationships, is doing things differently and is speaking differently than the version of you at present. It's just what it is. There's no judgment around it. But this version of you, the more that you can speak to the future of what it is that you are actually creating and stop rekindling the stories of the past, the better off you are going to be, and the faster you will see things. You will see things coming into your life. We call this collapsing time, because you are so anchored in the new and the present moment of we only have the present moment, right? So by staying stuck in the past, there's nowhere to go from there. It's already done. So by staying in this present moment, in the verbiage of what we are creating and using the most powerful words in the English language, which are I am. Being mindful of what you put after that I am is really important, because the universe just says, okay. If I say, I am not good enough, okay, the universe is like, roger that, we will send more things to affirm that. The universe does not judge. It simply just matches. That's it. So the more that we can change the story and turn our story of victimization into a story of empowerment, the better things that are going to be for you, and the more miracles that you will see on a day-to-day basis, where you can build momentum in that way. Now, that leads us into step 4, which is surrendering and trusting. This is one that took me long time, long time to learn this one. How to surrender and trust. Surrendering does not mean that you're giving up. Common misconception. Surrendering means that you are letting go of the expectation that your life has to look or be a certain way according to the rules that you set for it. It just basically means that you're letting go of control of how something shows up and when it shows up and what that looks like. So a good example of this can be almost with money as well. So let's say that you are looking to manifest more money, and then somebody offers to take you out to a dinner that maybe you couldn't have afforded, at a really nice restaurant, right? That was money that you earned from the universe in the form of a credit of a dinner, right? That is abundance that is available to you right there. But the mind might say, well, it wasn't money in my pocketbook, so it doesn't count. Incorrect. It does. Surrendering allows us to receive in a much bigger way, but without the rules and limitations that our silly human brains like to place. When we surrender, we're just allowing things to come in their own time. And if you can really trust the fact that you will always have what you need when you need it, you will find less of a need to control. You will find that things actually come into your life a lot easier when you're not trying to, double check and make sure everything is okay each step of the way. It's an exercise that gets to constantly be practiced, because you're going to have enough voices just in the world and in media and just in everything saying that, perpetuating a story of fear, that you can't trust, that it's not safe. But the truth is that it is safe for you to live your life. It is safe for you to be here. So, surrendering and trusting, step 4. Which leads us to step 5, which is trusting your intuition. You have a compass built inside you that always knows your next best step. What's fun about intuition is when you lead your life from a more intuitive place than, let's say, a logical one, is that the next step is what's going to be provided to you. And until you take action on that next step, you're not going to get the next step after that. Our human brains really like to be able to know the entire span of what something is going to look like. From start to finish, we want to know what each step of the way looks like so that we can feel safe and that we can, once again, trust. Let's go back to step 4, right? If you can allow yourself to follow your intuition and take action once you get an intuitive idea, the next step will reveal itself. So one thing that is really powerful to be able to connect to your intuition, if you might think that I don't really have a strong sense of intuition, like what are you talking about? A way that you get to do that, and this is one of the most simple exercises that you can do, is put your hand on your heart, and if you're thinking about the concern or the issue of what it is that you're currently working on, you can say, what is it that you need right now? And really talk to your body in that moment, especially if we're dealing with health. What is it that you need right now? And the answer will always come. Sometimes you need to get quiet for a little while if the mind is extra chattery, but you will often hear a voice or have a feeling or maybe an idea that comes through, or a sudden inspiration. The moment that you request for something in your life is immediately given. It's just whether we are open enough to not to receive the message. Sometimes you might ask, what is it that I need right now? What is it that I need right now? Sometimes it'll come in a random way. You might turn on the TV and then there will be a commercial that gives you an idea of what it is, that the thing that you need. It might be, the commercial might be talking about, an herb or a supplement or something that actually is aligned in your highest good for the health issue that you might be currently experiencing. That it can happen that fast and that easily. So just to be able to trust your intuition and then take steps from there, knowing that the next step will always be provided in the perfect time with the next and the next and the next. I've experienced this time and time again throughout my healing journey when I worked with different people, and then different supplements were brought into my life, and different practitioners, and then different ways of eating. All of these steps stacked upon one each other as I took action. And that is how I was able to start to really turn around autoimmune disease, the way I was able to really start to turn around spinal injury. These steps work beautifully together to be able to process your emotions, to be able to focus on what it is that you're really creating, get into the feeling space of that, to tell a new story, to surrender and to trust, and to really lead from your intuition. These 5 things together, these are the principles of manifestation, really, like I said, in any area of your life. And I hope that you found these tools to be really helpful. And I hope that as you start to practice these, that they give you you start to really just play with and have fun with the idea that the healing process doesn't have to be this horrible, devastating thing. You can actually bring a lot of fun and a lot of joy into the experience. Kitty agrees. She is currently playing. Embodying the essence of joy and play. So I hope that these tips were very helpful for you. I would love to hear how these are starting to play out for you in your life as you start to use them, and feel free to use the comment section for this. And if this is something that you are really looking to embody on a deeper level, and you are really ready to explore these higher levels of creation using these principles, shoot me a DM and I can show you my different session offerings as well as one-on-one coaching to help you get to where it is that you deeply desire to be and where you know you belong. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.